Greetings everyone, it's Stell from Stell Work Studio, and I'm actually in the pottery studio again, finally, oh my gosh. Today I am getting some glazes sieved, and this is what has been keeping me from getting anything done, is because I've been putting this off. And one of the major difficulties about this job is that I have this one glaze, Lana's Purple. I believe it's Lana's Purple number 2, and it contains lithium dioxide, something like that. And if a glaze containing that mineral gets if the temperature of it gets down below, I believe it's like 50 degrees, it starts, the lithium starts to crystallize and precipitate out of the solution. So you have to sieve it out. You have to sieve the whole glaze, and then take those crystals that have precipitated out and redissolve them and put them back into solution. And my brain hears all of those things that it needs to do in a row and says, that's just too hard. Let's go do some sewing instead. So here I am. All right, so this is our Lana's Purple glaze, and it's looking extra super chunky. So, I have not glazed anything in almost a year. And for that job, I only used 2 glazes, and it was not this one. So this has been sitting here for quite a while. I'm hoping I will be able to get some glazing done after I get this sieved and the crystals are incorporated, but who knows? My energy may wane too far. I'm really hoping that I can get a kiln lid going tonight, though. That would be good. I'm supposed to set up for a show tomorrow that I'm woefully unprepared for. So maybe I'll have something to put out on the shelves on Saturday. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it'll just be buttons. All right. Start her up here. I use this pitcher because I am a noodly armed weakling and I can't lift a full bucket very much. So I just dip out a couple pitchers full, and I use my bucket lid inside for a rest. And let me check the view here. Let's see from where the camera is. All right, we're looking good. And then I take my handy dandy dollar store toilet brush. Push it through. Now, because I stirred the glaze, all of those crystals that had precipitated out on top, they've gone to the bottom. Ew. It'll take a little bit to get to them. I can't remember what size sieve this is. It's either 60 or 80. I don't worry too much about like super, super fine particle size. Not because it isn't important, but because I have not found it to be important for the glazes that I use. My glaze jobs often have things like drips and overlaps and just, you know, places where the glaze shows dynamic movement, and that's what I go for in my glazes. I like to have a little bit more of a natural look rather than a pure look. That's why I don't use ribs or do any kind of like major smoothing on my throne pieces. It's for that organic aesthetic rather than a perfected aesthetic. There's room for both in the art world, that is for sure. I think this is my most sieved glaze ever. It's so smooth, aside from the random little crystals. Alright, now we're down to the bottom. I can give it a pour here. And then I get to scrape out the sludge. Let's see if I can do that here. That. And I'm just using a kitchen, rubber scraper from Walmart's. Did you ever have somebody like that in your life when you were growing up? Somebody that called places with a singular name? They always put an S at the end. I had a neighbor that would always say Kmart's. They were going to go to Kmart's. Oh, I found a big crystal. Hold on. Let me rinse this off in there. Oh, I broke it. Dang it. Well, heck. You can't see it very well. Oh, well. It's a 6-sided crystal, and they can get pretty thick. You should have seen last year's, because last year's it got really cold in here at one point, and so I think the glaze actually froze, which meant that a lot of that lithium precipitated out, and so we got some big crystals. I'll see if I can find the picture, and I'll use it as the thumbnail, to suck you all in so that you can watch this. But I don't have crystals that big in here today. Only last year's. And no, this is not a crystalline glaze. It does not form crystals when it's fired and then cools. It's just a nice, I would say it's semi-opaque glaze. And I use it in conjunction with my white satin matte, which is a glaze that is paired with... Are you kidding me? I only have little itty bitty crystals in here. That's so weird. Let's see. Here's one. Let's see. Huh. Or maybe that was that chunk that I found that I thought was a giant crystal. Oh, here's one. Ah! Nope. That's where one was stuck. Maybe that's that one that I thought I had found. Well, they've all busted up, I guess. Let's see. That crunches up. Here, I thought I was going to have amazing things to show you guys. And I thought this was going to be a, difficult job for me. Nope, I just have to push these crystals through the sieve here and it'll be good. Alright. Okay, let's see if I can get one last scrape out of this here bucket. Because I sieved twice. So, so I'm always using the same first bucket for every glaze that I have to sieve. Just start with that orange bucket. That's generally my rinse bucket when I'm actually doing my glazing. I'll put just water in there to dump my pieces in. Okay. So there was sieving number 1. And now we can go back through and do the same thing. We'll give it a stir. Just to get some of that crud up from the bottom. Because this one does, it does precipitate fairly quickly. I do have to keep it fairly well stirred as I use it. Some of them you hardly get any sediment at all after a couple minutes. They stay nicely suspended. This is not one of them. If you know of a way to keep those solids suspended without affecting the action of the glaze, let me know. I know people have told me what I'm supposed to do for that kind of thing, but heck if I can ever remember. I've been told all kinds of different things for different reasons. And think I can remember? No. I think it might be, is it Epsom salts that keep things from hard panning? It doesn't really hard pan, it just settles fast. It's fairly easily stirred up. Though it did feel like cookie batter on the bottom there. So it took a little bit of scraping away at it to get the majority of that bottom layer up. But it wasn't even a 1/4 inch thick at the bottom. Okay. So, I know that some potters sieve their glaze every time before they use it. I sieve it when it starts to look chunky. If I have chunks sticking to my pieces as I'm glazing, that's time for me to sieve. Not gonna bother if it's not doing that. Because Mama ain't got time for that. Actually, I have all the time in the world. I don't have the energy for that. This is a somewhat physically taxing activity for sure. All right, that's it for the picture. So I'll get that at least a little bit scraped off. Okay. I'm so pleased, you guys. I don't have to do any melting in hot water. When you reincorporate the large crystals that precipitate out, you have to put them in, you put them in a cup and then you pour in some boiling water and, just enough to get them dissolved. And then you just stir them around until they're no longer solid. And dump them back in. And it seems like the use that the bucket of glaze gets throughout the year does seem to, deplete it of enough water that I'm not really messing with the glaze thickness when I add that little bit of extra water in there. Sometimes it needs even more than that. But right now it's looking pretty good. This is the thickness I like my Lana's purple. Alright, yep, we've got about a cookie dough consistency down here on the bottom. It might take a little bit of water to get that scraped up. I'll probably just take a cupful of glaze and stick it in the bottom here. Okay. Oh boy. Well, you know what I've got? I've got one of those like Pampered Chef bowl scraper thingies. I think I'll use that for this. Because this is being ridiculous. So, if you've gotten this far, thanks for watching. If you would be so inclined, I would appreciate a subscribe or a like. And if you'd like notifications for new videos. Yeah, those are the things. Go ahead and hit the notification bell. And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing here, and I will talk to you all later. Thank you. Bye.